Hey everyone, it's Rajiv and welcome to my channel Rajiv's Reviews. In this video, I am going to be giving my book review of the first book in the Casteels series, which is Heaven by V.C. Andrews. The story revolves around Leigh Casteel, who is the oldest of the Casteel children. The Casteel family is considered to be the scum of the hills, and everyone in town considers them as nothing better than lowlives. On her 10th birthday, Heaven's grandmother reveals to Heaven that her mother Sarah is not actually her birth mother. Heaven finds out that her real mother, whose name is Angel, died shortly after giving birth to her, and that her father Luke remarried with Sarah to have more children. Heaven has four other siblings who are Tom, Fanny, Jane, and Keith, who are all birthed by Sarah. Heaven's father Luke despises Heaven because she reminds him of his angel who died after giving birth to her, so he never shows any affection towards him or Sarah. Even though Sarah loves Luke more than anything, Luke does not even consider her even as someone special, and he openly goes around sleeping with everyone else in town. Then there are certain incidents that happen in the story due to which Sarah goes crazy and she runs away from the family, leaving Luke alone with the children. Being a lowlife and a sex addict, Luke comes up with a devious plan that changes the lives of his children and puts Heaven's life at risk from losing all her loved ones. So here's my review of the book. I am one of those people who loves these soap opera styled family sagas which have over-the-top storylines that provide pure escapism. As I mentioned in my previous videos, my favorite author is Sidney Sheldon, and he used to write these kind of novels which got me hooked onto reading in the first place. V.C. Andrews is another one such author who writes pretty trashy but very gripping novels that I do enjoy reading. I read Flowers in the Attic a long time ago when I was in school, and I remember loving it at that time. I remember reading the rest of the Dollenganger series, but I really don't recall much about the series itself. Anyway, I recently found the whole Casteel series in a secondhand bookstore, and I knew I had to have it immediately. First of all, I love the old style of these paperbacks where if you open the book, you actually find out an inside cover of a full page drawing of all the characters, which I am disappointed that paperbacks these days actually don't make these kind of prints anymore. Anyway, coming to the story, I don't know if V.C. Andrews herself wrote this book or if it was one of the ghostwriters, but I actually love the twists and turns in it. The story is basically split into two parts, where the first half of the book talks about Heaven's life in the Willows, and the second half talks about her life at Candlewick. In both of these parts, there are some pretty scandalous events that happen, which even today's readers would find very shocking. There are some specific incidents that take place in the story that will be etched in my memory for a long time. Even if I forget the name of this book many years from now, I will always remember those scenes where Sarah is giving birth to the baby and when Kitty abuses Heaven in the bathtub. In terms of the characters, I love Heaven as the protagonist. She comes from a very poor family, but she is very ambitious and level-headed. She never gets angry at Fanny, even if Fanny treats her very badly. I loved her relationship with Tom and her dynamic with Cal. The author also wrote the villains very well. I was actually scared of Kitty and what she would do in certain scenes to Heaven when she was in one of her mood swings. What I found interesting in this book in general is how the characters are not as two-dimensional as I thought they would be. When I was first introduced to the characters, I thought that Luke and Fanny and even Kitty were very two-dimensional, but as the story progresses, you start to see more layers towards them, and they are not exactly who they appear to be. The only thing that I did not like about the story was the pacing. This book is so slow at times. While I felt that the story overall was very well written, There were certain parts in the book that were so slow and just dragging and was just repeating itself. In fact, I feel like the author knew that this whole series is going to be split into 5 books, so she purposely added just unnecessary pages of plot that just went nowhere. Almost in every chapter, Heaven whines about why her pa does not love her, why they are so poor, why Jane keeps falling ill all the time, how desperate Sarah is for Luke's love, and so on and so forth. This book would have been just perfect if they had done the pacing right. But other than that one point, Heaven is a really good and entertaining book to read. It has all the trademarks of a typical V.C. Andrews novel, which is a family saga, an underprivileged girl from a privileged background, a doomed love story, an incestuous relationship, a distant father, and some horrifying deaths, just to name a few. Overall, I would give this book a rating of 4 out of 5 stars. If you enjoyed this review, then please do like and subscribe to my channel. You can also click on the bell notifications icon to get notifications on whenever I post something new. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.